Hello and welcome to Casual Leaves. And this episode is very, very special because we have some new plants. And while one of the plants I have spoken about in my very last video, I will be covering that one more time here. So please feel free to skip that part if you've seen my last video. If you haven't, do go back and see that one as well. There are going to be a lot of interesting facts about the plants that I'm going to be showing. One of the plants I've had in the past, but it died on me, must be an alocasia. That's a hint. So I've got a new one back again, and I have some other interesting plants as well, which are kept right in front of me, and I always get so excited and the energy just changes when there are new plants. So I'm really, really happy to be doing this video. And so last month in first week of Jan, I had added about 8 new rare plants to my collection, and they were from House of Merak and Urban Roots. And this time again I'm back with some new plants from House of Merak, and they're really, really good quality plants, really rare and really nice established plants with great root systems, because I have repotted them, so I have seen it and I can attest to the fact that these are good quality plants. And after those 8 plants, I thought I'm done for the year. I'm not going to be buying any more new plants. We all say that, but actually the reasoning here for getting more new plants yet again was the fact that there has been a lot of price drop, huge price drops across sellers. I think after the monsoon and towards the end of the year, after winter, a lot of plant shops and sellers have come back with really great deals, and it makes sense to add plants to your collection during such a time, because there may be parts of the year where they get really, really expensive, and then that's really not the point. So if we are growing a collection, we are going to be buying new plants, we are going to keep adding to it when the time is right. So when you have access, when they are accessible to you, that's when you should go ahead and pick them up, or you'll just keep waiting. We don't like that. So that was just a preamble about how I went ahead and got 4 more new plants. Totally justified. But let's see the plants now. And before that, if you're new here, I make houseplant videos as I build my rare plant collection. At times I do some interesting unboxing and review videos as well, so do subscribe to the channel. And if you're returning here, thank you so much. It means a lot. I'm counting on you to watch this whole video right till the end, so please do that. And thank you one more time for being back. Okay, so the first plant I want to start with is a philodendron. Actually, there are three philodendrons here and 1 alocasia that I'm going to be talking about. So there are 4 plants that we have today, and the first one is a philodendron Bippenifolium, or horsehead philodendron, and I would like to show it to you now. So it's got the most unique foliage, and look at this one. It's just so unique, just very pretty. And I think now you can get why it's called what it's called. So if you see the leaf, it's actually like shaped like a violin. So the other name is the violin shaped leaf plant. So they look like the shape of the violin, and they also look like a horse head, though this plant which I have is sort of still young. It's a very young plant, and I just want to add more light so you can see better. So yeah, I hope you can see it better now. And this is a younger plant, so of course the shape can be much more exaggerated when it becomes much more mature, and it looks like the head of the horse. So that's pretty cool. And otherwise also it's shaped like a violin. And it's connected to some other philodendrons as well, because a lot of hybrids have been formed using Bippenifolium, which is the scientific name of the plant. So there are a lot of hybrids, like one of the other plants that I'll be showing today, that's a hybrid along this and Pedatum. So it's a very unique plant, and a lot of hybrids have been created. And the good thing, interesting thing about this philodendron is that it can sort of be spreading, trailing, or it can even climb. So it likes to kind of just whine out, and it will just have like this one is kind of having this one long whine almost, so to say, and it had a ton of aerial roots, which I have chopped off because I didn't really need them. But yeah, so it has this really nice long line, and it will keep growing. And you can actually kind of, put it on a moss pole and try to make it climb as well. And it's just like any other philodendron in terms of its care requirements, the kind of soil you use. So one second, I'll just reduce the light a bit. Yeah, so you can just follow the typical care guide of any other philodendron. So you have your aeroid soil, which is like a chunky soil which has a lot of aeration, so a lot of oxygen can reach the roots. It requires indirect bright light. I am trying to give these kind of plants some shaded effect. Like, I don't really, even if I'm using grow lights like the one behind, I try to make sure that there is some obstruction in between, so it kind of gets dappled light. I think they really do well with dappled light. So if you're not getting indirect sunlight, and you're not creating your lighting system from that, and you use a grow light like I do, try to create a dappled effect. It really helps. And you water the plant when the top 2 inches of the soil are dry. And for pests, I try to use my universal pest solution, which is mild dishwashing liquid, some hydrogen peroxide diluted 3% food grade, and in fact a little bit of alcohol, the medicated alcohol, like hand sanitizer, just a bit of that, and a lot of water. So the whole thing is very diluted, but I like to wash my plants with that once or twice a week, or the best is neem oil spray. So when you get a new plant, try to do that a couple of times. So this was plant number 1. Also, the good thing to notice here is the new leaves are kind of more brighter. They are more lemony green, slightly goldenish, whereas the older ones, they kind of get darker. So I think it does respond to light also in that way. When you have newer leaves which are facing the light, they kind of have a different shade, and then over time it kind of changes. So a very interesting plant. I'm so excited to have this in my collection. Just gonna try and keep it back here for the while we are talking, and let's get into the second one. Okay, so now moving on to plant number 2. Very special plant again, and I've been wanting it from a very long time. Maybe it was one of the first few initial ones that I wanted when I started putting together my plant collection, but I wanted to see it in person before buying, and I couldn't do that. And I didn't want to order it online from Amazon and then just receive something. So I was waiting for a long time for like the perfect piece of the plant, the perfect pot of the plant. So here it is. Let me just introduce it first, and then we can talk about it. This is my Philodendron Florida Beauty, and I just love it so much. Honestly, the reason I'm shooting this in the evening, almost night, is because I can't wait to show this plant. It's just so beautiful, it's just so pretty. And I will try and insert some daytime footage as well of the leaves, because they have a really nice variegation and a really nice texture and pattern to it compared to what I have otherwise seen. So if you notice all these leaves, look at that minty variegation. Look at that pattern within the variegation, and the shape is just so pretty. That typical unique foliage of the shape of the ghost, which is what this is famous for. And just look at this specific leaf. It's just so pretty. I love it. In fact, there was one other leaf, and there's one left in that shade, which is almost white, which is this one. Look at the colors of this one. Yeah, there you go. It's almost like a creamy white, like a minty white shade with these dark green lines on it, which is just so beautiful. There was one more which was almost purely white, and I mean, it died off finally after a point while it was adjusting. And I did repot this when I got it, and it's got some decent roots as well. So I repotted it when I got it, and again, I'm very glad I repotted it because it was in those nursery net pots, like a sponge thing inside, and that was just kind of eating up the root system. So very glad with what I've received. And of course, if we are talking about Florida Beauty, we talk about Florida Ghost. This isn't that, I believe, for the signs that I'm going to talk about in a bit. This is the regular Philodendron Florida Beauty, and it is known for the shape of the leaves, the kind of lobes it has. That gives it a very spooky kind of a vibe. It is known for that, most known for that. So right around Halloween and stuff, people start bringing out their Florida ghosts because of the ghost shape. And of course, the name has come from the fact that these leaves are typically, when they come out fresh, they have like a lighter shade, almost white, which is in Florida Ghost, and as it matures, the leaves become darker and darker. Mine is a variegated one, so there's this dark variegation within that. So I really yet need to see it growing new leaves before I can know exactly what kind of color system it's gonna have. Right now, though, it's a Florida Beauty because of some telltale signs which I want to talk about. So if you see the petioles, this one has got this reddish petiole here, if you can make out. So right where it's attaching to the leaf, that's all reddish in color, and it's got this texture on it. It's got a very rough sort of texture about it, which is a telltale sign that it's a Florida Beauty and not a Florida Ghost. Florida Ghost has a different kind of a petiole system. So we know for a fact that this is Florida Beauty. I was really hoping it was a ghost, but of course that's totally another plant, and that's not what I was looking for at that moment. There is a new leaf here on its way out, and just like any other philodendron, same set of care guide. Watering is when top 2 inches of the soil is dry, indirect light. I'm going for dappled light. Pests, same as any other. The care routine goes about your same neem oil treatments or your regular homemade solutions like the one I mentioned in the last one. And apart from that, regular fertilizers like NPK fertilizers, Epsom salt, trichoderma powder. I use that with all my waterings, but it's very, very, very diluted, and that's why I kind of do it with most of the waterings that I do. Not like a lot of people do it once in a while, once in a week, or whatever their schedules may be. I do it every time, but I do that because it's extremely diluted in my case, because I really can't keep track of when I gave a particular fertilizer to a particular plant. So I just like to keep the whole thing very diluted and then just give it every time to each of my plants. So very beautiful plant, very nice in size. Again, the good thing about this plant is that it can sort of vine out. So when it vines, it will kind of droop and it will have like a little trailing sort of a quality as well, but a lot of people make it climb as well, so that can also happen. You can actually try and attach it to a moss pole, which also makes it look very beautiful. This is one of the plants which will do well in less light as well, is what I have seen in many people's videos where people talk about their lighting conditions. I am trying to give it a decent light right now because it's a new plant, and this was the newest leaf which actually got damaged when it came to me, but that's totally fine. It's nevertheless so pretty. And I'm just taken aback by the texture on it, the mintiness of it. And this year is about minty plants, and I'm just so happy my Florida Beauty has this minty quality, because a lot of the other Florida Beauties out there, maybe they're just pedatums is what I've been seeing. They are those typical dark green leaves and not like this, but I'm hoping this one, I'm just feeling a bit lucky actually that I've got the right plant. So this was plant number 2. So excited, waiting for it to give me new leaves under my care. It's just been a couple of days I got it, and I hope you will get inspired to add one to your collection too. Alright, we are back here for plant number 3, and I have covered this plant in my last video, so I won't be spending too much time as part of this video. So if you're looking for some more details, please do watch the other one. But let me introduce you to Philodendron UPI, and it's a really unique plant that I think is a must for every collection, especially because of how easy it is and how glossy the leaves are. I just love the texture. It's like a typical philodendron feel to it, the way the touches for the plant. And okay, I'm back. You think you'll have some alone time with your plants, but you won't. There's someone or the other always coming in. But anyway, so yeah, this is a new plant. It's a juvenile plant. It's a 4-inch pot right now. I have repotted it into this clear container, which is very amazing because you can see the roots. These are the roots which have been kind of developing now. There are more, but I really can't show it at the moment. So maybe you can have a look at my other video where I've given more details about the plant. The history of the plant is quite interesting, which is by the botanist Yopi Moonen, and how he discovered it and how he thought that this was actually a plant which was eaten by ants, and that's why it had that particular shape. And that was how he initially saw it the first time, and then he happened to see it the second time. And this plant was discovered on top of an ant hill next to a river. So it was quite interesting. There's an interesting anecdote about this plant, which again I won't repeat because it was in my last video, so not really going to talk too much about it. But really hoping for this plant to grow big. It kind of has that wild growing pattern to it, just like your Biliete or just like your Perozo Verde, where it's just going to go all over the place, which I think is a very lovely look. It has a very wild quality, very foresty wildness to it. So I'm really hoping that this starts doing really well. It is also currently giving me Anthurium Bippenifolium kind of feel. Of course, it has nothing to do with that at all, but that's how, they have those droopy pendulum kind of leaves, pendant leaves, but really cool plant. So happy to have it. Okay, so my battery went. No. Okay, so my storage just got over as usual. So anyway, I think I was talking about the fact that how the petioles have a slightly pinkish color when they come out. So that's a kind of interesting sign for a lot of philodendrons, where the petioles have a pinkish shade, and as they mature they kind of change the color. Like you can look at this one, for example, which is more like a brownish one, and the newest one is completely green. It's like fresh green. This is like the newest leaf. Very, very glossy leaves, nice thick leaves. So that's quite a unique plant. In fact, I'm just looking at the back sides of these, and even they are so interesting. Like the ribs, the veinings on the back are quite prominent, so it looks very interesting. I think when the plant grows bigger and more matured, it looks really, really nice. There is a new doorbell. I'll just go get that. I just want to show this little green thing in the center over here, which is the start of a new leaf. So it's already doing well. The plant has been establishing for a couple of days at my place. Just gonna take a quick break. And now finally, the last plant that I have for today, one of my most favorite plants ever. I used to have this before as well, and I had a much younger version of the plant, and it got the first ever spider mite infestation I had in my collection, and it completely went away. I tried to save it a lot, but to be very honest, I had very little knowledge about taking care of houseplants, and I was just trying to read as much as possible. But honestly, no matter how much we read and we apply, it doesn't work. It's just with time and patience that you learn how to deal with a particular plant. So now this time I have tried to get a matured version of the plant, and here it is. This is my Alocasia mycolidziana, also known as Frydek. Though we all know Frydek is the variegated version, so we will be sticking to calling it mycolidziana. And just look at the leaf sizes on this one. I think I've got a really, really great plant this time. Look, it's all very matured. The leaves are so dark, thick, so velvety, which is the main highlight about this plant, which is that it has velvety leaves, and the green color on this is purely like your jungle green, and the veins, which are these striking almost white, like a creamy green, creamy off-whitey veins, are just so unique. It's just so amazing. Right now I have put a little stake in here to help the leaves stay upright, because honestly, with all these kind of alocasias, the leaves they start drooping because of the weight, and they typically have a very long length of the stem, so that's pretty normal. So it's advised that you do use some sort of a support system to let the leaves be upright. This is the newest leaf. It is still hardening up, it is still unfurling, and hence there are some creases on this side, and I'm very sure they'll go away once it completely opens up, it matures itself. And there is a new leaf on the way again. So when I got the plant, this leaf was unfurling, and now it's on its way, but there is a new leaf already that you can see here, which is coming up. So very excited. I did not repot this plant because just first I want to show the stem, the main stem is like a very thick one. It's a single shooter plant, but it's got a very, very thick base, very good quality leaves, very nice, thick and sturdy. And there's something going here, and there's a little support system thing done with this other stick. I've tied a rope just today, and along with this little metal stake here, so that the plant remains upright. If you have seen the further matured versions of the plant, these edges that you see, they become more and more prominent. I will try and insert some pictures. I think this is one of the most unique alocaceas, very easy to fall in love with. I don't think there's anyone who does not like or want this alocasia. I have seen some people have really big ones with like 2-3 shooters of the same size together, so maybe one day I would also like to do that. I would want to buy a couple of more alocaceas, mycologianas, big size, combine them together, and I hope they do well. I will insert a picture of this in daylight because it looks even more prettier. I was just too excited to wait until morning to shoot this video because I really wanted to show my new plants. And lately I've been feeling very low about my collection because I've been coming across so I got interrupted again, but here I am one last time about this plant. So I think I was talking about the color, if I'm not wrong, but okay, one final attempt and then I will wrap up this video, but I will insert a lot more clips for this plant. It's very popular for the foliage, the color of the foliage, the pattern, and most importantly, the texture. The texture is the main key highlight of this plant, which is just so velvety. You have to touch it to know what I'm talking about. Care guide is just like all alocaceas, though I think they love moisture, they love humidity, they love good, bright, indirect light. I think they don't like wind drafts at all. That dries up the leaves, the textures, and they like to be in a group. They like to be with multiple similar plants, is what I have noticed. So I try to keep my alocaceas together, and that's about it. Sorry for so many interruptions in between that have broken my chain of thoughts, but I think I'll conclude this video here. I do have one more thing to say actually before I go. These were some new plants which I ordered locally, but I have finally made a purchase of a plant which is from outside the country, which is actually from Ecuador. And if you know me at all, or if you've seen the channel, or maybe read a bit about what I like for my plants, you'll know which plant this is. This is the most expensive plant I have ever ordered, and I'm really waiting eagerly for it to arrive. It's expected to come in the month of March, and I hope it comes in a great, good quality, because that's my investment in one of the plants that I really want to own, truly a wish list plant. So waiting for that, and I hope these 4 plants excited you, and hope you plan to add them to your collection. And if you like this video and the plants I showed you today, do like this video and subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell, and do me a favor and watch the next video. Bye.